Your friends are scrolling through short content, but you, my friend, you're here to learn. Welcome to the RS Clips. What's a day in your life like now?
Well, I'm free bird. I have nothing. The only thing is, I was trying to fight for justice. I hope I have accomplished it in the sense. Actually, if you really look at it, my case was over in 4 years' time from the day it started. Afterwards, the remaining 20 years, I was only fighting for justice in the sense that those who have done this should be booked. That is done. And that took 20 years. So I am happy. Afterwards, now it is a different case between two prosecuting agency and the culprits. So I'm happy.
What date was it completed on, roughly?
Actually, it started in the year 1994, October, November. 2000, 1998 itself, April 29th, the case was over. That is, they said that I am innocent and this is a fabricated case. Then 2018, the case was over in the sense that the Supreme Court approved the findings of the special committee to frame charges against those people. And that approval is over by 2018. With that, according to me, the case is over.
24 years.
24 years totally, yes.
Okay. You learned to live with it in the 23rd year?
No, actually, I'm happy that I'm living even now. Otherwise, people would have kicked the bucket long back with the tension, with the kind of so much, unrest, stressful life. So I'm really happy. That's why I said I'm doing very well.
There's so much I want to ask you, not just about the case. I want to ask you about like the whole science side of things as well, because I feel you have a lot to contribute to the future of the journey of science of India. So we're going to come to all that. But I have to get one question off my chest because when I saw Rocketry, this was a burning question for me. So please pardon it if you don't wish to answer or if you think it's a slightly rude question. But I want to know if you ever looked at this 24-year phase from a slightly philosophical perspective. In terms of, did you ever question that why it was you? Or like, what was your mentality? Was there any philosophy involved?
Well, a lot of philosophies are involved. In fact, this is a question which I have been thinking about it quite some time. As you rightly put it, why it is me, and what sin I have done to get into this mess. Was it a real punishment, or whether it's a reward, or a corrective, or a warning? All kinds of philosophical questions. Pretty long questions, and I have my own conclusions on those. So they are philosophical in the sense it is. I'm thinking of writing a book on that, but I don't know whether I'll be able to do that because there are unanswered questions even there. Some are answered. Some because see, for example, something is happening and you don't know why it is happening, but then slowly you get to know why it is happening. And before that, you want to know, okay, you got an answer for something, but there are other subsidiary questions which are arising out of it. Why this route? Why not something else? So, like that, the branching questions are many. I am trying to get answers. Hopefully, I will get some answers. But as I told you, philosophy cannot be ruled out without yourself having a strong faith in God. I am a strong
Believer.
God believer, and in fact, there are questions used to ask me. You are a scientist. How do you believe in God? In a recent interview, I answered him. You think that just because I am a scientist, I don't have the fundamental rights of what I am supposed to have? That kind of a question I have asked. So very interesting question and very interesting. Uh, so many things are to be found out. It's a long time. It will take long time.
Your relationship with God, did it change in those 24 years?
Sure, it has. Sure, it has. You are not seeing the same Nambi Narayanan when before the case and after the case. It's a different type of person you are meeting today. In the sense, shall I say that I don't have this kind of a patience even to answer the questions earlier. I used to think fast, and the moment even before completing the thinking, I want to act fast. That is how I was living for quite some time. Whenever I get no action possible, I get fed up. When I get fed up, I become emotional and I throw things and this, that. That is my life. That was my life.
No, I'm kidding.
Don't worry, I
Please
understand.
enjoy the water.
Yeah. No, I told you you are seeing a different person altogether.
Yeah.
I won't even.
Unless I trigger you and you throw something at
No,
me.
no, no.
Well, I'm
You
joking.
can't trigger me, actually. It is difficult.
I don't want to trigger you, sir.
No. I'm telling you seriously. Why? Because earlier it is possible for triggering me very easily. You do something unethical or some kind of a thing, you can easily trigger me. Well, of course, triggering means what? Triggering me means you just make a wrong allegations. Then you. So in the beginning of the episode of the spy case, I was triggered. I didn't know what to do because you are arrested, you are put behind bars, and you are questioned, unquestionable questions you have to answer. So those kind of a life. Then slowly I started understanding. Okay, this is something different, and I started thinking about it. Even during the interrogation, I won't tell you this unless you are willing to believe it. I got certain directions while I was thinking about all these matters.
You mean while you were being interrogated?
Yes, interrogated. Exactly. In the interrogation, I was told that wait, you will get some time. Don't get antagonized. Don't get, emotional.
You mean you got some intuitions?
You can call it as instincts. You can call it as, but I call it as directions.
Okay, I gotta pause you here. Sorry, sir. Just to give context on people who probably have not seen Rocketry. I don't know why that is because a lot of people in our generation have seen the movie now. But to give you context, who I have sitting in front of me is one of the most accomplished scientists that India's ever seen, contributed immensely to the journey of science in India. Any achievement of ISRO that you hear about in the news boils down to the work that Nambi Narayanan sir has contributed to India. That's been most of his life. And in 1994, he was wrongly accused of something mistreated by the authorities in India. And it took 24 years for that case to get resolved. And only now there's a sense of justice.
Yeah, can
Okay.
call it. Yeah.
So that's the context. Of course, I've condensed too much information. Like you need to actually see Rocketry to understand this human being's contribution to our country. But one of the most uncomfortable scenes for me to watch in that movie was most of the movie is about your scientific work and achievement. And then suddenly there's this stark change in that interrogation phase. And sometimes they say that reality is weirder than fiction. And this piece of fiction was based on reality. So I can't imagine what that was like from your eyes. You're just doing your job for your country, and out of the blue, God throws this googly at you. The way you were treated in those scenes, the way those scenes were done, where tea was thrown on you and like there was physical, insult. I'm sorry I'm saying all this. I'm sorry I'm taking you back there. It was difficult for a viewer to watch. So I can't imagine what you went through. And I have to give the context to the viewers listening to this episode as well. Have I said anything wrong? Would you like to correct anything?
No. I think what you were saying is perfectly correct. And it is really, I am not triggered because of, to be very frank with you, you become frozen. The years, so many years have passed after this incident took place. So you became you have taken it, not once, but so many times you have talked about it. And much more than that, you have thought about it. So no reaction on my side. In fact, if you ask me to watch the movie once again, I will watch as if it is somebody else is going through this mill. That kind of sensation.
Everything shown in that movie actually happened, right?
This is a question when very, very VIP asked me the same question. Actually, he asked me, he was frozen and he became very uncomfortable. I wouldn't say that he was emotional, but he was minimum emotional. So he asked me, are you telling me that these are things which happened? And I just told him that much more than this has happened.
Really?
Yeah. So answer is yes, we actually, myself and Madhavan, when we planned this movie, I told him one condition that you shouldn't tell any lie. You shouldn't justify it by saying it is cinematization or it is exaggeration. No, you should show only the truth. This is one point. And also, he has to get my written approval for making any changes from what we discussed, etc. So, for example, those torture scenes were very much minimized,
There was much more that happened.
much more than that. But the only thing is, you see, there is a prestige question. Nobody would like to say that I was blasted by somebody, I was hit by somebody. No, would you like to say that you will get credit for having got blasted by somebody? But this is what has happened. In fact, I personally felt at one junction, all these torture scenes are to be removed because my own children are going to see the movie.
Can
So,
I counter question you here a little?
yeah.
Don't you think it's important for those scenes to be out there for the public so people understand the reality of parts of our nation?
Sure. Actually, what I am trying to do so far through my various interviews and two of my books, as well as through the movie, is trying to inform a common man, particularly the youngsters, make them to understand this is what we are. For example, when I said in the beginning that 4 years my case is over and 20 years it took for me to book those people, what do you think it is? This is where our system is. I'm not saying particularly that this is wrong with judiciary, but this is where we are. You see, how can you correct it? I think these are to be corrected. These are necessarily to be corrected because otherwise justice has no meaning. What is the meaning of justice?
Yeah.
So,
I think we've had a lot of political podcasts, a lot of political commentators. Um, Now, there are people on the BJP side, there are people anti BJP who we've had on the show, but I look for commonalities in all their narratives. And one commonality I found in everyone's narratives was problems with the judiciary. This is a very large problem that actually needs to be addressed by the Indian population. People need to know about this. Um, and I think Rocketry, as well as your whole story, highlights that in such an intense way, especially considering everything you've done for India. If someone like you could be, at the receiving end of whatever the judiciary went wrong with, what about the common man? What about like the average Indian?
actually, I want to differ from you in
Sure.
the following sense. You are saying that I have done and contributed to the country.
Yes.
So, for me, the judiciary should be different. I am not in agreement with that. I am saying that everybody is equal. My point is different. My point is that I'll tell you, I look at it in a different way in the sense, after all, finally, judiciary has given me a verdict. That verdict is very much agreeable to me. Only thing I am saying is it has taken so much of time. But you have to justify in 2, 3 ways. One is the allegation is so grave, so they want to make sure that they are giving the right judgment. This is one part of it. But my point is different. My point is the allegation is so grave and the visibility is also so clear. For example, if you say that such and such a secret has been passed on to Pakistan and then through Korea, and you have to, for example, they are telling that the cryogenic technology was passed on. Mind you, the cryogenic technology was non-existent at that time. It is known. It is known to all, even people who make the allegation. Number two is they said that it is used for making missiles. There is not even a single missile, even today, after these 30 years, using cryogenic technology and a missile exists. No. No, don't you think that these are obviously idiotic and nonsense? But still they said that is what bothers me. You see, the problem is certain things are to be, even in media, for example, the media wrote so many things, right? You think particularly the vernacular media, not the national media. National media also to wrote something. The reason is there is no specialist. For example, somebody says the rocket secrets were stolen through the fisherman boat or fisherman's basket. What the hell is it that unbelievable? So that is because the fellow doesn't know what is rocketry and what are the secrets. This is where I am just telling.
I call this old media, sir. I think media is also changing. And this is a format of new media. I'll also tell you one thing for sure. My entire generation, I'm 93 born. So 90s born, and after that looks at you in a very different light than how old media looked at you. And we'll keep looking at you in a different light. Like, we know the truth. So,
No, one thing I want to tell you. Even today, the media is the same.
you feel so?
I'll tell you from the following angle. The media is after sensitizing certain things more than seeking the truth. Even if they seek the truth, they want to sensitize it. I don't know why they want to sensitize it.
Sensitize as in?
Sensitize means that dramatize it.
Ah, okay. That's for their own numbers and their own. That's how media works.
Yeah.
Like that's why Big Boss is a concept in our country. People like seeing fights and drama. So
You like Big Boss?
do I like Big Boss? I only watch my own podcast, so I don't. I'm kidding. I only watch podcasts in general, but I don't. But the masses do, you know. And at the end of the day, for media to survive, you have to make money, and to make money, you have to talk to the masses. So that's the harsh truth of our country. But I will tell you that media is changing, at least from my eyes.
There are some newspapers, they are changing. They have changed already, right from the beginning.
Yeah. So, I mean, my generation, we don't really consume newspapers anymore. You know, we get our news through the internet, which is again a double-edged sword. It has its positives, it has its
That's
negatives.
also full of stories.
Lots.
Lots of stories.
But these formats where now you are the person in context, you are getting to talk openly for an unlimited duration of time. This is where the truth can actually be revealed. I'm privileged to be, you know, a part of this new format, but less about me now, so more about you.
No, you are doing wonderful. I like your. I have seen after the invitation. Because I thought you were only doing the Hindi version of it, but then I understood that you are doing the English part of it. So
Yeah.
I went through.
Thank you, sir.
Some of them, and it's pretty good. It is really, at least I would agree with you that there is a change of format in this.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out this playlist for more videos just like this. It's TRS Clips.